2007 Volkswagen Passat. We're going to be doing the brakes, front brakes. And so what we're going to do here is bleed out any nasty brake fluid, like that. Use a little bottle, hook it up to the bleeder valve. That way you don't have to worry about, there we go. Air getting in the system. It's pretty nice. I usually then push it back and then push on the pad directly to make sure it's that last little bit in there. And then when you're done, you can just take your time, tighten it back off. I just use literally some safety wire, a piece of clear hose, and there you go. You know, got all that nasty fluid out of there. Put this away. All right, we'll find it later. Cool, onward and upward. When you don't lose this and you find it, like I will here in a minute, after that, you can go ahead and crack these loose, 7mm Allens. Not too tight. They're usually torqued to about 35 Newton meters or so, just a Allen socket. So get those loose. You can wait to take them out because you're also going to take off this little doohickey right here. This spring pushes, it keeps the caliper pressed down that way. So, of course, the safest way to do this would honestly be grab it with a pair of vice grips. I just do this. I just grab one end with a little pair of vice grips so it holds on, and then take a screwdriver, pop it into the side, pop it out. There you go. That way it doesn't spring up and hit you in the face. Of course, make sure you're wearing your safety spectacles, because safety third. Stay. So then you can come in here and unscrew these. And another thing is, if your car has this equipped, pad wear sensors, you're gonna need to unplug that. So let me get my pick tool so I can unplug that. If I was smart, I would have my cart closer. Sometimes they can be pretty tight in there because they've been out here getting dirty and dirty and dirty. So if it's a little stiff coming off, that's okay. You can always pull it out of this harness and work with it more there if you need to. All right, second thing is these pins come out. You will want to clean them and lube them. Yeah, they just slide out. They're just a little, it's basically just a shaft. It's a stud. So I take it over to the wire wheel, I clean them off, and then before I put them in, I put grease in the boot. Not on this because it just gets all wiped off if you do that. And continue on. That one's being tight. Of course, if you're really fancy, you got yourself an electric ratchet and you already got these things off. You ever stop and think about, like, tools were very much necessary for existence, historically speaking. Spiders, not so much. All right, so you can set that up there. You can see how much pad we had left on here, which isn't empty, but it's pretty done. It's pretty done. It's not the worst thing to be, worst time to change them. And then this pad in here just locks into this, so you grab this and pull it out. Your new pad should come with a built-in sensor, and it just hasn't quite broken through on the inside yet. Almost there. Oh well, nothing I can do about it today is to use a hook, like so, to hang your caliper. You can use a coat hanger or anything like that as long as it'll, you know, hold it up there. I just got it hooked onto the spring right now, which kind of hard to see, but it's hooked to the spring, promises. So now we get these two off. These are your caliper bracket bolts. I think those are 21s. if I'm correct off the top of my head. Hey, look at him. Depending on you're gonna need something big for these. Like, these are really tight. If you have just a rinky-dink little ratchet, it's gonna be a bit rough. I, however, have a much bigger rinky-dink little ratchet. They're pretty tough. You know, I didn't even try it. I forgot to try my trick. We might not have had to break those loose. Let's give it a shot real quick. I don't think it works on this one, but occasionally there is a brakes. Usually it's on the rears of these Volkswagens. Yeah, no, it's not. Sometimes you can sneak them out. These you cannot. So, it's okay. Oh, okay. I see what that is now. Welcome to Support the Mechanic. Yes, Dave, welcome to Support the Mechanic. There you go. Got the hub, or the rotor off. So in case you're wondering, this is your hub. It is attached to the wheel bearing, which is behind this. This is your backing plate. Caliper bracket. Caliper. Just so that way if anybody asks you like, well, is your hub stuck or something like that, you know what they're talking about. So this part right here is the hub. And then this part right here is the wheel bearing. Wheel bearing, and then you got your drive axle. This is your axle nut, and strut, spring, shock. Shock and spring, the whole thing is a strut. It's not a coilover, it's a slang for that, but it's a shock with a spring, which makes a strut. Shock absorber, if we want to get really anal about it. And there you go, you have disassembled your brakes. Congratulations, how do you feel? So what I'm gonna do now, clean up this hub face for the next rotor. All right, got our air grinder with a little wire wheel on it. Also make sure you're wearing your safety spectacles when messing with grinders and wire wheels and stuff. I know I'm not the most safety conscious person out there, but I'm not stupid either, so. Try and knock off any and all the rust. There. Good enough. It sits on this surface right here, not on this surface, so this doesn't have to be perfect. Just make sure that you got it pretty darn smooth. I like to use the wire brush versus a relic disc or a buffing disc. If anything, just because these are pretty cheap and they last a really long time. Ha! Found it. Good news, I found it. It was on the floor. I don't know where I knocked it off or how I knocked it off, but I knocked it off. So we can put it back on there. Hooray. All right, now we wait for our new brakes. We'll go get the other side done, and then when we get our new brakes, we'll go ahead and give you the TLDR on putting it all back together, which isn't very complicated, but useful. All right, we finally got our brakes for this car. So, new brakes out of the box, brake cleaner. We have bulk brake cleaner, so we just fill up these jugs, but give the surface that you're gonna be riding on little spritz. It doesn't have to be too much, doesn't have to be 2 liter. There is no wrong answer. There is no wrong answer. Give it all a wipe down. Get all this storage oil off of it, because these will come oiled, so that way they don't rust in the package, and you gotta get that off. Like I said, it doesn't have to be super, as long as it gets clean. So give them a wipe down, make sure they're not too oily, and then we'll go put it on the car. All right, so as you remember, we just have the bottom part of this. We'll just do that, lift up, let down. Then I just gotta find, there's a little hole for our set screw. This little set screw does not have to be crazy tight. It's just gotta hold it in there. In fact, mainly from what I remember from school and stuff, that is merely for manufacturing. It's not necessary, it's not necessary in the slightest. If you don't have it, don't panic, it's fine. It'll be fine, because the wheel holds it on. This is just to allow it to stay here in like a setup way that it's flat. Just makes it a little easier to assemble. So if you have it, great. If you don't panic. That's the short answer. So we got that. Put the bolt back in for the bottom of this bracket, and we'll tighten them down to factory spec. An idea you can do if you're in a rusty area, these are real clean here because I'm in the south. They don't usually need too much tending to, but if you're somewhere that's real rusty and crusty, you want to wire brush these surfaces and lube them up with some lube. Down south here, I don't lube them because I've had more issues with brakes being lubed too much or something to that effect than just having no lube. So now I'm going to tighten down the caliper bracket. Where is my 21? There it is. So now that you've tightened down this caliper bracket to factory specs, time to put on the brakes. So we got our brake caliper up here. There, we can see more. We can see more butts. So again, we've already pushed this in. However, it might not be quite all the way down. And if it's not, like if you can't get it over the caliper, or sorry, over the rotor, then you might need to get it just a skosh, push in the piston just a little bit more. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna take just a pair of channel locks or C-clamp, or I don't care, pick a thing. You can just do this. Don't hit the boot. Just give it a little squeeze. Should be real easy. Just gently go in there. There. Perfectly flat. Now we get our brakes. Which is where? Where did I put them? Right there. So remember, one brake went in here, and this brake went out here, because this one's got the little clips. Now, something that I want to do at this point, ooh, thought I had a bug on me. is lube that up. Had to go buy the Boss Man cigarettes? Mountain Dew Zeros, nice. All right, so I try not to be too liberal with it, but a little bit of grease on the inside of the boot there. I might have been a little extra generous with this. And I like to take a pick tool and just work it around in there, because that gets it all worked in there. Don't stab anything, but you want to work that lube, which this is brake caliper grease. Then you can take your pins and slide them in, and they should move very freely. So once you get them in there, they should go up and down very easily. And then what I'll do at this point is get a rag and wipe off the excess grease that came out. So I'll just come up here and wipe the threads down. They're gonna have a little bit on them, but as long as it's not too darn much. There. And we can snap in our new shoe, our new, sorry, not shoe, pad. Might have to push in on one part. A little far back. Sometimes they just don't want to play nice. There we go. Can that go in? I think we're fighting our, bracket here. Just drop that on the floor. This one seems a little wide. We're gonna have to fight this one a little bit, eh? There we go. Got that in, push these back. Don't pull that back out because then we have to fight it again. Crap. And of course we get our new another pad here, and we can take this and put it on over. Just gently slide it over. Shouldn't be hard at all. There you go. Now you can get those screws in the back in there. This part is a little bit more interesting. You got to wiggle it around a little bit and make sure you get the bolt started properly. And you'll know it when it starts to, you can tell when you get threaded in there. But it might be a little effort. Might need to do a little playing. Of course, plug in your brake pad sensor. Oftentimes you're gonna have to push on the caliper to get the top one in, or the bottom one, whichever one you haven't started yet. Quick way to check if you're going in the right direction, check it in your hand first, and then go back to it, because you don't want to be going the wrong way on accident. If you ever watch the live stream that I'm doing right now, which is what we're filming this while doing, but I stream most every weekday, I oftentimes walk around with a wrench, and I'll just instinctively at this point do this before I start doing anything. It's just checking it. So yeah, we're tightening. So of course, tighten factory specs. We'll do that. We'll go back and check it later. But that is the back bracket part. And we come back to the front. And they actually gave us new clips in our brake kit. New springs, clips, springs, I don't know what you want to call them exactly, but a thing. This is probably the hardest part of the whole job, other than those caliper bracket bolts. And I'll show you what I do to get them in. So this little spring here, kind of a pain. Put it in the first one. I start it in the top here, and then I use my thumb to hold it, and then sometimes I'll get a screwdriver and wiggle it through. Sometimes you have to bend these things a little bit to get them in there. There we go. This one doesn't want to play nice, does it? Oh, come on, you were there. So then once you get them in there, then you can go ahead and put them around. I don't think these are right, are they? Yeah, they are. They just don't look it. I don't like how it sits off the edge. It's like I want to bend it. And if you don't like how they fit, I mean, feel free to go back to the old ones. I might just do that. A little better. That should be fine. Oh, let's see how the old one fits. Oh, that one fits a lot better. We'll go with the old ones. See, they're much more seated on the face there. So, and that's what they look like. Now you're completed. The only thing you got left to do is put the covers back on. We're still going to go back and double check it. And you have completed a brake job. Good job. Congratulations. Go forth and conquer. Thank you for watching. I appreciate it. And see you guys hopefully on the live stream, but see you guys next time.